I don't think is your mic?
I'm saying I'll remember that once I get out there. Unlikely, but yeah.
I guess.
We can cover for each other.
Wait,
So
what?
we just skip over lines. Like if I don't hear a line, I'll just go immediately to mine.
This prop closet will never be organized.
This really add up.
Ava?
She's got it. It's like empty.
Whose idea was it to make us officers?
Anyways, oh Grace, you're here.
Hey, sorry I'm late, guys. I had this crazy dream we were trapped in the theater. Oh my God! Why are we here? How did this happen?
It's the theater company curse, remember?
The what?
Don't you know? Anyone who becomes an East Hamilton Theater Company officer is doomed to be buried alive in the prop closet.
Wait, what?
I always wonder where Gracie Vogel went.
Wait, so you're telling me I have to spend the rest of my days with this?
That man right there.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Alyssa, look at what I found.
Oh my God, do you remember when this fell off of Harrison's head during All in the Timing?
Who the hell is Harrelson?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Here.
No, don't mess up my hair! No,
Put it on.
Why am I wearing this?
Oh, it doesn't matter. Here, listen. You see this bell I have?
Yeah!
Every time I hit it, it's going to make you say something different than what you said before.
No, it doesn't. Ding! Yes, it does.
See, I told you. Now, why don't you show off that wig a little?
Now that I can do.
Wow, 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 wow!
Oh no! I'm so embarrassed.
It's okay. He was too.
If you don't get that reference, you might be a little too young.
Hey, what's this?
Oh, that's the shirt from Putnam. Grace, do you remember?
Do I remember? Do I remember going through the entire audition process, singing in front of a ton of people at the age of 13 just to have my little 8th grade dreams crushed by Alex Jensen Ford? Do I remember? Yes, Chapel, I do.
Wow, shouldn't have brought that one up.
Yeah.
Anyways. Oh, wow, Grace, it's your favorite dress from Little Shop.
Oh, God, it itches, it itches! Ah!
It's her problem.
I kind of like it, actually. It's pretty
Oh,
cute.
it's pretty cute.
I can't believe we even got away with doing that show.
Oh, yeah. I remember watching it. Like when Theo did that thing.
Say ah!
Yeah, that's the one. Uh-huh.
Oh no.
Wait! It's too late!
Excuse me! What are the handcuffs for?
Law enforcement!
Well, that was weird.
Who even was that?
Oh, crab noise, crab noise, crab noise, crab noise, crab noise. Crab noise, crab noise, crab noise. Look, Chapel, I'm the frog prince.
Anyways, we're just gonna skip that scene.
But I wasn't in the show, like, at all.
Good.
She probably really shouldn't be in the show.
Grace?
You good?
She's got it.
Go Power.
not even that
Go
heavy.
Power,
What is
she's
wrong
got
with
it.
you?
Why do we still have this thing?
Oh, she just lives in the theater bathroom now.
Ew.
You have seen and smelled unspeakable things.
Well, anyways, one of the best parts out of any of our shows is when Theo and Malik sang Agony. Do you guys remember that?
That was so good,
Yeah.
except I think mine and Chapel's version is better.
Agony! Although it's different for each.
Okay, I think I like the original Castle better.
That's honestly super
rude.
disrespectful. Why would you even say that, honestly?
Being honest.
That was not good.
I don't have pockets. What else is in there?
Oh,
So much light. Daylight all the time.
Grace,
And on
Grace,
sunny days.
Grace.
hey,
Sunny days?
no, it's...
No sunny days?
Wow, we still have a lot of, latex and blood.
You know, out of context, that sounds kind of wrong.
Alyssa, you can't say that.
Yeah. One of my favorite parts about Radium Girls was guessing how many times Malik would voice crack.
That was so funny, dude.
Yeah, he would just, Miss Fryer.
No. It was you're underselling it. It was more like, Miss Fryer?
Yeah. I bet probably about $80 on that.
Yeah, honestly.
I lost.
The arrogance of that man.
Oh wait, Chicago was a lot of fun too, though.
Yeah.
I love that show.
Oh, God!
3 months later.
You got the mic set up?
Got the cameras?
Yeah.
Hey guys, I finally learned the choreography to Me and My Baby.
No.
Cellophane, Mr. Cellophane. Ava, mask.
What?
6 feet.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago was nice. We kind of got back to normal with Shakespeare, though, even though it was very humid outside, and I was tired, and everything was... Ava, that's not your cue.
It's not?
No.
Oh.
Go. Anyways, Shakespeare. Right. Shakespeare was a lot of fun, even though it was outside, in a parking lot, in front of a dusty old truck with spiders on it.
Ham! Lit.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
She got it right that time.
Yeah.
What the?
Poor Yorick, alas.
Oh,
That's all.
well, that's a bogey.
No, Chapel!
No, Chapel, you know, but Chapel.
Oh, man.
What do we have to fix this? Popcorn? No.
Oh, right there. Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Gun? Oh, no.
That'll probably make it worse.
Tiara.
Alyssa, it's just a skit, remember?
I totally
Yeah,
forgot.
No, she's not actually
Is she
dead.
not dead?
Yeah, no,
She's
fine.
good. She's good.
But then with
No,
Leo...
No, we're not done with Hamlet yet.
We're not?
No, we skipped an entire scene.
What? Did you say?
It kind of sounds familiar.
Yeah, tall guy,
Some
blonde
dude,
hair,
like,
glasses.
actually, like, I think it skipped an entire scene. Yeah.
Yeah, it rhymes with the name Hustis.
It's almost like he's sitting right over there. I could be wrong, though.
No, he's probably not here. He
Anyways,
probably
we may
didn't show.
proceed.
He probably forgot.
But then with Legally Blonde, we got back to normal. Or we got back to the cameras and microphones.
That's right. Anyways, I really liked doing the cameras because every time he'd say rolling, I'd just, sheesh!
That was a good one.
The best part about using microphones is
Reset! Sheesh! Stand by. Action.
the best part about using microphones is we could whisper cute little things into Chapel's ears.
No. Oh, God. That I won't miss. Yes, chef!
Oh my God. You hit me in the face.
Oh my God.
Me too. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hammys 2021. Did you ever think that we would make it? I don't know that I did, and I'm very glad that we are here. I've been told to stall a little bit because they are changing, but I don't know what to say. So instead, Mr. Taylor? You asked for it. That was pretty outstanding. For the internet that didn't hear, we'll just leave it in the room. I think that's better. We are joined by several people online who couldn't be in the room, so we welcome you also to the Hammy's 2021. Let's give it up for the people at home. That's your people. So I do want to talk about a little bit about how tonight's going to go. We're going to give out some awards, and then we're going to recognize some seniors. There may be some roasts. There may be some other things shared. But mostly, we're going to start with the plays, and then we'll move on to the musical. But I do want to say this. This year has felt like a really, really long and constant struggle in a lot of ways. But I believe that here, in the East Hamilton Theater Company, we haven't had a normal year, although I don't know that we ever really have a normal year. You can tell from the skit that we just saw that our years are pretty varied and crazy, whether it's a sixth grader asking what handcuffs are for in Little Shop of Horrors, right? Or, yes, skipping entire scenes, or other things that may happen. I don't know if that's normal, but I guess that sort of is. We've done crazy, weird things, and they're all great. I think that we here have actually had an amazing year. And tonight is a night to celebrate the year and to celebrate you guys, to celebrate the seniors, to celebrate the performances, to celebrate anyone that came to a show or that was in a show for the East Hamilton Theater Company. And so we're just excited to do that. So we're going to move on to that. Mr. Taylor is going to introduce the Play Awards, and we're just going to start rolling right along. All right, Mr. Taylor? Mr. Taylor, everybody.
Sorry, I'm a little short. All right. So, this fall, we entered into the play season. I feel like Mr. Ford and I entered into it way before, mostly because of him, because I remember being in the middle of an AT&T store trying to upgrade my cell phone when Mr. Ford frantically calls me, outlining this entire plan to do 2 plays out in the parking lot. At the time, of course, I'm trying to upgrade my phone, so I'm just kind of, nodding as if he could hear that on the phone. But what really caught my attention was the fact that he told me that we would not only be doing these in the parking lot, but our stage would be constructed in front of a broken down truck. So anyone who knows me knows that I was ecstatic about the aesthetic of this. Sorry, didn't really have any of this prepared. I'm kind of winging it at the moment. But what ended up happening was, conveniently, I enrolled into a second graduate program and had to take a step back from theater in the fall. So my practices that I actually attended were few and far between. I remember one practice coming into a COVID practice where Mr. Ford could not be here. And so because of the powers that be deciding Zoom was this great invention, I remember my only role at that rehearsal, because I hadn't read a script, I had no idea what was going on, I'd been here for none of the blocking, was to start the Zoom call, and Mr. Ford blocked practice from the comfort of his own home. And so that's been kind of the idea of the way that our year has run, essentially, with the plays. The very first scene that I actually saw unfold was in Hamlet Abridged, where the entire play was going backwards. So it was an interesting time. But I did get the opportunity to come and see both plays. So in the fall, we did Hamlet Abridged as well as Game of Tiaras. And I can say, on top, with the skipping of the scenes and all of these 2 casts in the Hamlet Abridged show, the show was never quite the same each time that I saw it, which I definitely appreciated. So, with that being said, it was definitely a really interesting fall semester, and one that I think that grew our skills, essentially, stretched us as actors, as teachers, challenged us to do things differently. And so while would I want a repeat of this year? Absolutely not. But I do think that as a theater company, we have definitely grown in what we can offer to the Chattanooga community. So I will stop winging it now. Hopefully everyone's had a chance to get changed. So the first award that I am here to present is Best Supporting Actress. Oh, I'm being upstaged.
One more hand for your officers who put the toll.
All right. So, yes, our first award, Best Supporting Actress in a Play. Our nominees are, we'll get to that nominee screen. There we go. Our nominees for Best Supporting Actress in a Play, Rachel Lowe, who played Ophelia in Hamlet Abridged. Leilani Reyes, who also played Ophelia in Hamlet Abridged. Mary Wilfong, who played Polonius in Hamlet Abridged. Emily Waddell, Gertrude, Hamlet Abridged. And finally, Amelia Tyree, who played Gertrude in Hamlet Abridged. And our winner for Best Supporting Actress in a Play is Rachel Lowe, Ophelia, Hamlet Abridged. Come on up, Rachel.
And now the category is Best Supporting Actor in a Play. The nominees are Sebastian Galanto for King Claudius in Hamlet, Grayson Repko for King Claudius in Hamlet, Aaron Steele for Laertes in Hamlet, Sahil Sankur as Polonius in Hamlet. This is actually a typo. David Alley for Smeagol in Game of Tiaras. And the winner is David Alley.
All right, moving right along, our next category is Best Leading Actress in a Play. Our nominees are Ava Bailey as Cinderella in Game of Tiaras, Olivia Connor as Elsa in Game of Tiaras, Grace Brown as Belle in Game of Tiaras, Mackenzie Scott as Narrator 1, Game of Tiaras, and Gabby Okel as Narrator 2 in Game of Tiaras. And our winner for Best Actress in a Leading Role in the Play category is Grace Brown, Belle in Game of Tiaras.
And now the category of Best Leading Actor in a Play. The nominees are Justice Ellington for Hamlet in Hamlet, Malik Norwood for Hamlet in Hamlet, Spencer Eves as Prince Charming from Game of Tiaras, Gabriel Ghani as the French Prince in Game of Tiaras, and Joel Robertson as the King from Game of Tiaras. And the winner is Malik Norwood.
Hi there, I'm Scott McPherson. So, I'm trapped on this hammock. Anyway, the award for the most outstanding improv performance. Now, the improv team is new, it's in its infancy, and one person was kind of the spearhead of its initiation, and that was Sebastian Galanto. I've known Sebastian for a long time. He's a great improviser, and he was also one of your captains this year He totally deserves this award. He's awesome. He's going to do great things in life. And without him, the improv team probably wouldn't happen. So everyone give Seb a big round of applause. Also, come back to improv next year. We'll be starting in the fall. We'll be doing some shows. It'll be a lot of fun. Come out. We'll have a great time.
Sebastian Galanto.
All right, so moving into another category. Each year at the Hammys, we like to honor and recognize students who this may be their first performance with the East Hamilton Theater Company, and so we like to recognize those in the breakout performance category. So, for male breakout performance, the nominees are Garrett Delvey as the JetBlue pilot in Legally Blonde. Misael Gallardo as Emmett Forrest in Legally Blonde. Jason Shelton as Horatio in Hamlet Abridged. And Luke Woodard as Blood Packet Guy in Game of Tiaras. And the winner for male breakout performance is Misael Gallardo as Emmett Forrest in Legally Blonde.
And likewise, we have in the same category for female breakout performance these nominees. Sophia Coulter as narrator in Hamlet Abridged. Anna Kate Holloway as the cat lady / sorority sister in Legally Blonde. That, by the way, I was told by Miss Wiggins was her favorite part. She has cats. She likes cats. Jordan Price as Elle Woods in Legally Blonde. Helena Ramsey as Snow White in Game of Tiaras. And Emma Wesolowski as the narrator in Hamlet Abridged. And the winner is Jordan Price, Elle Woods, Legally Blonde. Could we have Ashley Knox and Riley Benedict to the stage, please? A word about these two as they come up here. They run two very different but very important teams in what we do. They are our technical director and our student director of the shows. And so they are going to present their awards respectively, starting with the technical director.
Okay, sorry. Ford just told me this morning that I was doing this award, so we're gonna bear with me. So the nominees for this award are Emily Gallant, Claire Culp, Chapel Short, Monique Dean, Aiden Sternberg, Olivia Lacey, and Angel Chong. The winner is Chapel Short.
Ditto, Ashley. I was informed this morning, so yeah, me too. Outstanding crew performance. Here we go. The nominees are Meg Henderson, Haley Newman, Julia Murphy, Emma Dudley, and Katie Crow. And the winner is Meg Henderson.
So the musical. Let's talk about this musical, shall we? So usually the musical, we start in January, we're done in March, and then we're planning the Hammies for a couple of months, and then seniors, you guys are, winding things down, everything's going to be great. The musical's still going on, and will be going on after the seniors graduate. That's weird. And the reason that is for those of you who don't know, we started this semester in digital learning, and we did that for 4 weeks, which actually put us behind schedule 4 weeks. And so we had 10 weeks, 11 weeks if you count editing, to get this thing ready so that we could premiere it and then we could show it to audiences. And Legally Blonde is a really difficult and complicated show with lots of set pieces and lots of main characters and different intricate things. And so, of course, naturally, I wanted to cut a lot of stuff because I knew that I was going to be editing this show. And I'm like, yeah, let's just cut it down and cut it down. And you wouldn't let me. It happened. I would go to Riley. I'd be like, hey, let's cut this thing. And she goes, no, actually, let's add more. And then I made decisions. I did make these decisions. And I put them out there on Classroom and other things, and then I would get messages from different characters like, Mr. Ford, I don't know if we should cut this because I don't want to. And that wasn't just students, by the way, because someone else, I was perfectly content on cutting a big chunk of the show away. And Mr. Taylor comes up to me and he says, Mr. Ford, I'll just block it. It's fine. You'll still shoot it and you'll still edit it and the tech crew will still build the things and get the but I'll block it. It's fine. And what happened is we pretty much did the entirety of the musical, but that's not exactly where it stops. It's not just a stage musical, which on its own it is. You learned the music and the choreography, and we learned the tech changes and everything so that it could be a stage musical, and then we turned it into a film. And we didn't just turn it into a film that's like a camera filming something. It's a movie. Most of you have seen it. Several of you will see it this weekend. It's a movie. Aiden, we made a movie. Like, that's what happened. And so I'm really, really proud of it. And these performances, a lot of them, I'll say one more thing and then I'll shut up. But in order for this to have happened, Mr. Taylor and I were so busy doing things that we wouldn't normally have to do that we couldn't give attention to things like character building or helping people learn lines or giving out the correct blocking or making sure this one part is right. Instead, you guys showed up knowing your stuff, you pushed us, and you did a lot of it on your own. And here's what's great about that. We were able to make something amazing. And here's what stinks for all of you freshmen, sophomores, and juniors for next year. I now know that you can do that. I know that you're capable of learning lines in 2 days. And I also know that you are able to do an entire scene within a week. And I will not forget that. So congratulations to us all. These are the nominees. Actually, I'm sorry, this is Mr. Taylor's category. What am I thinking? Mr. Taylor.
All right, so our next category is Best Supporting Actor in a Musical. Our nominees are Sebastian Galanto as Dewey, Gabriel Ghani as Nikos in Ensemble, Logan Phillips as Kyle, Joel Robertson as Aaron Schultz, and Sahil Sankour as Sandeep Padamadan. And our winner is, for Best Supporting Actor in a Musical, Logan Phillips as Kyle. But Logan couldn't join us tonight. He is joining us via the live stream, so we will make sure that Logan gets his award, but give him a hand anyway.
Yeah, we've joked, I'm going to say it anyway, Mr. Taylor. We joked that category, it shouldn't say Logan Phillips as Kyle. It should say Logan Phillips' butt. And I think that's what won him the award. All right, we're going to move on now. The Best Supporting Actress in a Musical. talk about a stacked category here. Alyssa Boring as Serena. Grace Brown as Margot. Clementine Kmitt as Carlos. Rachel Lowe as Enid Hoops. And Amari Odom as Pilar. This is also missing. It's missing Jessica as Kate. So Jessica McMahon as Kate. I think it got cut off there at the bottom. I think the screen's a little bit too big. It is there. It is there. It's just you can't see it on the screen. It's right there. Right? And the winner is Alyssa Boring as Serena.
All right, our next category is Best Leading Actor in a Musical. Our nominees are Misael Gallardo as Emmett Forrest, Malik Norwood as Professor Callahan, and Aaron Steele as Warner Huntington III. And our winner is, for Best Actor in a Musical, Misael Gallardo, Emmett Forrest, Legally Blonde.
Hey, real quick before this next category, because they got here at 6 o'clock to learn exactly what they're doing, and they're operating both an internet show and a live show, even with a few hiccups. Give it up for Landon and Jake in the booth. But don't do that to me, Jake. The next category is Best Leading Actress in a Musical. We're excited about this category, guys. And the nominees are Gabby Okle as Brooke Wyndham, Aaliyah Petty as Paulette Bonafonte, Jordan Price as Elle Woods, and Emily Waddell as Vivian Kensington. I also love Emily. And the winner is Jordan Price as Elle Woods. So this next thing, I think, is who? Grace, are you introducing? Oh, sorry, Ava is introducing. Ava Bailey, your secretary, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so we're doing a roast of Mr. Ford. And, anyways. Hey, Mr. Eller, feel free to come up here and roast him as well if you'd like. Anyways, so because I roast Mr. Ford every day of my life, I figured I might just take a break tonight. And so joining us on stage, Mr. Sebastian Galanto. He will be taking my spot in the roast of Mr. Ford.
I gotta whip it out really quick. Okay. Hey now, the principal's in the room. Calm down. Okay, so it's an honor to stand here before such a well-known person. I mean, it's just, I'm starstruck. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the live-action Dumbo. Can you fly around the room with us? Like, you're not the Dumbo? I couldn't tell with all the gray hairs. All right. Dumbo jokes aside, I love what you've done with your hair and the way you transferred it from your head to your nose. It's really spectacular. Masks really came in handy for you this year. If you give him 5 years with the hair, glasses, and clothes, he'll be Carl from Up. But I guess he'll have to become way less senile for that to happen. Thank you. All roast aside, Mr. Ford, you've done so much for us. Aaron, could you give me what I gave you earlier? Okay, so Mr. Ford, to bring back your old swag so you can look even more like Carl, I've given you a fanny pack for East Hamilton Theater Company. Inside of it is letters from students all around the world. So we have students that live across the country now, alumni, and people in this room that really love and appreciate you, and I hope you appreciate this.
I'm shocked he didn't cry. You sure you don't want to cry? Just a little. You sure? There's a live audience ready. All right. Hi, I'm Grace. I'm sure you guys already know that. Don't clap. It's okay. So I also roast Ford a lot, but in my head, not as verbal as Ava, but, you know, it's okay. So I also gave away my roast to a very special someone who I think all of us saw this coming. I hope you're ready. Do you need, like, anything before this happens? Yeah, too bad. Mackenzie, will you please join me on stage? She's a runner. She's a track star. The stage is yours.
Hello. I mean, I am like Ava and Grace, and I also roast Ford every day, but I can't turn up this opportunity. I mean, look at him. He's crossing his legs right now. Okay, so listen, I've had Mr. Ford for like 4 years. And if you've been in a Mr. Ford class, you know he tells a lot of stories, he makes a lot of jokes, and he thinks he's like hilarious. So I'm gonna tell you one of his jokes, and feel free not to laugh. Ava and I were in musical theater last semester, and something with chips happened, and Ford aggressively pointed at me and goes, "Nacho cheese." Barely any laughter, that's how the class sounded. Another thing, Ford and I go to the same gym, so, you know, I occasionally see him in there doing his little workouts or whatever. And what I'm so confused about is how he's working out so consistently, but he's still built like a beef jerky stick. I mean, how are you in there running all the time doing those chest press and you look like an electric toothbrush? Might as well buy some Colgate with that body, if you know what I'm saying. And his head is shaped like a Lego. And I didn't want to bring up the ears because Seb already brought up the ears, but like, Dumbo's ears make him fly. Ford's ears just make Eller avoid him in the hallways. I know, I was supposed to be limited to 3 roasts, but I just had to throw it in there, you guys. I mean, he's crossing his legs again. Okay. And for my final roast, everyone should have known this was coming. Ford was in a commercial this summer. And you know, one of the lines, the first line actually in this commercial is, "I got an offer you can't refuse." One of the offers I wish I could refuse was the lifeless look in this man's eyes as he tried to sell insurance to us. I mean, come on, who was gonna buy some VidLink after that? Not me. And that is all.
Thank you.
Mr. Ford, was that aired in here or Dalton? Guys, I cannot follow that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so today I was writing my roast, and I have literally a whole page because I've known this man since I was like 5 years old. But then I got limited to roast because he's too sensitive for me to say all of them. So I'll just start with the appearance since that's what Mackenzie was doing. So Theater Fords, we know Mr. Ford has a favorite outfit, and unfortunately he's not sporting it tonight, but guys, he never always looks like this, okay? He always has on the powder puff shirt and the flannel. We take a picture of him every day. And he used to wear a bow tie and Converse all the time. So this man has gone from dressing like Ellen DeGeneres to trying to dress like a teenager so he can be cool, but I don't think it's working very well. Sorry about it. Yeah, so also, my sister and I have also known him for a very long time, and today I said, "Lacey, what should I say about Mr. Ford?" And she just goes, "I mean, he cries a lot." So I'm gonna leave you with that one. That'll tell you a lot about our dear teacher, Mr. Ford. And also, as a teacher, he has to write a lot of things to like send to people or make requests or whatever, but it's really unfortunate for him because he literally has chicken scratch his handwriting. You can't read a singular word this man writes. I don't know if y'all have tried, but it just looks like Greek or something. I don't know what it is. Like I've turned the page. Oh yeah. Also, if you see this beautiful set behind us, I'm talking to the mic really loud. You see this beautiful set behind us, this is actually the Chicago set, and we just made it really quick. He made it really quick afterwards. So we started to get on it, and he goes, "You know, I don't think this is stable enough. I should have all 5 of the production girls hold it up so nobody falls off of it." And that's where we come to Safe Enough. That's what all of our set pieces are, safe enough. But then when one of us falls down or hurts ourselves, like not his fault or the set or anything, he goes, "Oh, don't hurt yourself." And I'm like, "Can you reverse time? Because I can't. Like, I already hurt myself." It's like saying careful after you smack your head on the corner of a table. Like, that doesn't do anything. I think I have another one. Yep, I'm pretty sure I'm limited to 3 minutes, but if we go over, I think it's okay. So also, oh yeah, he tells stories a lot, like Mackenzie said. And all the time it ends with, "And I married her." But I know y'all know that. Was Rebecca here? Is she watching? Nice. Hey, Rebecca. Okay. So he always talks about his wife and kids or whatever, and I'm thinking, like, that's his whole personality, is his family, which there's nothing wrong with that. But, like, before them, what did he talk about? Like, did you talk about the weather? Well, like, I think that's that, guys. Bye.
Alyssa, this is too tall for me. I can't lift the box, it's too heavy. I don't need the box, I'm fine.
We want to see you. Hey, Chapel, what's your last name?
My last name is short for anyone who doesn't know. Anyway, I'm the nicest officer, so I was asked to say some nice things about you at the end so you didn't feel too bad. But as the nicest officer, I never give you as much sass as the others, so I have a lot of material built up. But I'll try to keep this nice. I go to the same church as Ford, so I've known him for a while. But my first distinct memory of Ford is from a middle school choir trip. I was playing music from Rent, and Light My Candle came on. If you don't know the song Light My Candle from Rent, let's just say it isn't very church appropriate considering it comes from a musical about AIDS. Because it was a church trip, I skipped the song, but Ford was like, "That song is so good, go back." So I did. Ford proceeded to sing Light My Candle, really loud in a church van full of middle school girls. 6 years later, Ford's texting the officers and calling us bruh. And saying probably. I think maybe he thinks he's cool or something. If he does, I'm not sure when we let his ego get that big. Maybe this roast will humble him a little bit. As I said earlier, I very rarely give Ford any sass, so I have years of being annoyed with him that I've said nothing. And I think I should take this moment to point out some of his flaws and how they have personally affected me. Most recently, he forgot to tell me that I was working every showing of Legally Blonde. I found out 30 minutes before the first showing. When I showed up, the explanation I got was he forgot I wasn't on the production group chat. As annoying as it was, I wasn't surprised at all because he never tells tech anything. But seriously, Ford, I'm going to be nice for just a second. I'm going to speak for the whole company. Thank you so much for everything you do. It's entirely too much. We appreciate the insane amount of time and dedication and love you put into this company. We are all extremely lucky to have you as a teacher. You are always there for every single one of your students for anything they may need. Now I'm going to speak specifically for the seniors. I think many of us gave up on having the amazing senior year we expected. We gave up on the things in high school that kept us going, like theater, like having shows, and even having this community. You easily could have given up too. But since you are absolutely insane, you didn't give up. You had crazy ideas like building an outdoor stage, performing in front of a truck, and making a movie? And hey, they all worked out and resulted in amazing products. So from the class of 2021, thank you for not giving up. Thank you for not letting us give up. And thank you for being an amazing part of our lives for the past 5 years. 5 years. We love you and we will miss you so much.
Meg, I think, aren't we like the same height? I think we've figured this out. But you're wearing heels today, right? All right. Just look out for those stairs. Wow, so that was very mean. Did you say a Slim Jim? Is that what you said, Mackenzie? Beef jerky, excuse me. So I don't have any kind of like retribution roast prepared, and so I'm not going to do that because I feel like you guys are punished enough just by these stories that, of course, you probably have heard a million times before. Yeah, I do love my wife very much, and I also don't know what I talked about before Rebecca came along, which was my junior year of high school. So there you go. So that was a long time ago, and that's okay. Life probably sucked before her anyway. I know. Go vomit. I love you, babe. You could say ooh all you want. It doesn't change the fact that it's true. So this is the time of our program where we're going to honor our seniors. And I do want to mention the awards that we just gave out. So the nominations that happen, Mr. Taylor and I, we look at the performances and we talk about it, and then we nominate those performances. And then the company, you guys, you get to vote on who wins. And so all of the winners, congratulations, but you were selected by the people who saw you perform and worked with you every day. And so you should really appreciate that. I don't want to discredit those part of the awards at all, because they're significant and they're very important. And this part is where we look at the tenure of all of our senior students. and we get to evaluate just how loyal they've been to the company and to those who come after and to those who've come before. And so they earn their mark. And what that means is if someone has participated a great deal their senior year, as well as other times throughout their being here at East Hamilton High School, then they get a brick that they get to paint in our tunnel, which is located right around the corner here. And this past week, these last couple of days, and tomorrow, and maybe even Thursday, seniors will be painting bricks, and the walls will become more colorful. And they get to join those who have graduated before them. And they also receive a medal that they're going to wear at graduation. And so, because we want you to be proud of what you've accomplished, and we also want you to have something that you leave behind, and then have something you take with you. And so that's what this moment is for. But I also want to point out that there are some seniors that join us along the way, and they arrive very late, or they are able to participate early on, and other things kind of happen. And I don't want to forget about those students either. So because I know that they're in the room, would Jason stand up? Where's Jason? And Aiden, would you please stand? Misael. And is Angel here? If you are here and I'm forgetting that you're here, or it's dark and I can't see you, I'm sorry, but these seniors have been with and are a part of the company just like the rest of us. And so again, would you give them one more round of applause? Thank you guys, and Angel. All right, so there are 31 graduating seniors from the East Hamilton Theater Company. That is the most that we've had by far. And so to keep this as short and as sweet as possible, I've limited myself to what is actually written right here that I have typed out. And so we're going to go through this fairly quickly because there are a lot of you. Here's the process. It's changed since this morning. So just so you know, again, there's not enough room on the stage for all of you. So here's what we're going to do. When I call your name, if you would come, you're going to receive your medal from Mr. Taylor, and you're going to step up here, and I want you to hold your medal, and I'm going to say some things about you, and then I'm going to put the medal upon you, and then you will have a seat, and at the end, I'll have all the seniors stand up again, and I'll make one final address to our seniors before they leave us. All right? So first is Ava Bailey. And Jake, you could go ahead and advance. We have some slides that we want you guys to see as well.
Oh, yeah, that's me.
So, again, I'm trying to pick like one memory and one thing. And, you know, I've been teaching Ava for a very long time. But there was one moment that was just extremely magical. It was a pretty special time. We were in the choir room. It was me, you, Jonathan, and what's your name again? Sebastian, that's right. Fanny pack guy. And we were in there and we were working on Funny Honey. Oh, God. And Ava, believe it or not, just wouldn't get mean enough.
Yeah, believe it or not.
She wouldn't get angry enough. She wouldn't explode like I knew that she could right at the end. And we were trying to get the timing, and Sebastian had a lot of lines, and it was going really fast, and we just couldn't get it. And we spent, 15, 20 minutes on this one part. And we kind of took a break. We stepped away from the piano, and then we came back. And I don't know what happened. I don't know if it was the break. I don't know if something clicked with Ava. But we got it, and she nailed it. And it was perfect, and it was awesome. If you saw Chicago, then you know the moment. It's at the very end. Everything goes red. And I just got so excited that I jumped up, and I had to give her a hug. And we just celebrated that one moment, and she never missed it again. And it was perfect from then on. And that, I think, explains Ava. It's someone who's not afraid to work hard to get something right, and then once she gets it right every single time. Ava Bailey. Oh gosh, Riley Benedict. All right, so I don't know if you watched the news, but this is a girl who wanted nothing to do with theater. the news came and interviewed Riley and Malik, and Riley had all of these really nice things to say about Legally Blonde and the show and you guys, and she started the sentence, "I wanted nothing to do with theater," and then I was pulled in and hooked, and I never wanted to leave. That was the full sentence, and the only soundbite that made it was, "I wanted nothing to do with theater." And more specifically, it said, "When I met Mr. Ford, I wanted nothing to do with theater." You can go watch the news. That's what it says. That's it. We never see Riley ever again. My favorite memory of Riley, believe it or not, is a very, very recent one. It's one that I semi-manufactured, and the reason I like it so much is because it's true that Riley was extremely shy when it came to theater, and her mom and I both knew that she was a performer and that she was a worker, she was a hard worker, and that she belonged here. And we finally convinced her that she belonged here, and I think about all of the other people in this room that she is convinced also belong here, and that's kind of the point. And so my favorite memory that I have of Riley is when Riley and her mother walked down the pink carpet at the premiere. It was this wonderful picture of what generational love and care can do and how many lives it can change. And so I think that you have the best student director that you could ask for, because this is someone who wants to work for you. And so thank you, Riley, for everything that you've done for us, and we love you very much. Alyssa Boring. All right, that's two. Down. I, as you have heard, have known Alyssa Boring since she was 5 or 6 years old. And the most recent thing that I had her do was the bend and snap.
Can I do it?
Yeah, go for it. I've apologized to her dad for it, and I've been thinking about it, and I mean the number of memories that I have of Alyssa are far too. There's just too many, and so I'm going to pick one that was the most surprising, and that was when it was callback auditions for Legally Blonde, and you came in, and we were trying to figure out who the trio was going to be, specifically who the leader of the trio was going to be, and Alyssa's audition made me so proud. It made me feel like I was also her dad, and that's weird because the words were shake, 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 woo. I'm so sad that you are graduating, but I'm so happy for what you're going to be doing. Alyssa Boring. Grace Brown. So my real favorite memory of Grace Brown is the fact that I have now beaten her at Mario Kart twice.
You didn't beat me!
Everyone saw, it was on the television, we were supposed to be doing school.
My mom is watching.
I beat her at Mario Kart. I was Yoshi, she was, who are you again? It was so far behind me. Oh, that's right. Sorry, in the dust. No, my favorite, I've been teaching Grace since she was in the 6th grade, but my favorite memory of Grace, and you don't even know this, it was after opening night of Little Shop of Horrors, and Mrs. Holmes' husband came up to me, and we were talking about how great everyone was, and all the leads and all the things, and he came up to me and he said, okay, it's cool that we're talking about, what'd you say, who the heck is Harrelson? It's cool that we're talking about these characters, but he said, but who is that young little girl that is so dynamic on stage that I couldn't not watch what she was doing? And I went down the list, and I'm like, well, maybe he's talking about one of the juniors, maybe he's, and then he was like, no, that one. He pointed out the picture outside, and it was Grace Brown. And if you've seen her on stage, she is just the most natural actress I've ever taught. And it's true. And it's because she is a genuine and sincere person at all times. And she has been for as long as I've known her, since she showed up on my very first day of teaching, in my very first class. Grace, I love you. And I know that wherever you go, people are going to look at you and immediately know that whatever you say is true and whatever you do is right because of how genuine you are. Grace Brown. I don't cry a lot. Olivia Connor. Another one of my middle school babies. Olivia, and I say that because if you knew her in middle school, at least in a big group, she would be very quiet, and that did last for kind of a long time, and I feel like it took she and I a while before we had the constant conversing and conversations that we do now, especially in first block, usually about, where is Ava, or or you and I are just kind of in the middle of the Ava Spencer thing, like all of those things. And we're just like, yeah. We're in the corners. But last semester, we were working on something for musical theater, and she came in and she said that she wanted to sing Burn from Hamilton. And I had heard her sing it one time when we did musical theater Green Block the previous year. But I sat down and I started playing it on the piano, and she was standing right over my shoulder and she was singing it. And I just got lost in the incredible performance and the beautiful voice and just how much you've grown and how much you've changed and how wonderful you've become, but also in the performance, it's such a deep and moving and mature sound, and it made me realize that I really have watched you guys grow up, and I stopped being your teacher, I think, a long time ago, and I started being your cheerleader, and I just don't stop blowing people away with your incredible talent, Olivia. Olivia Connor. Oh, Katie Crow. Katie Crow, another one of my sixth grade babies. I gave Katie a solo when she was in the sixth grade. It was a solo and kind of a duet, and the song was Down by the Riverside. This was this quiet, sweet little girl who just stood there and just like this. And then when I pointed to her, she sang with everything that she had. And then when she was done singing, she just went right back to this. And that's who she is. She is the kind of person who waits until it's time. And then when it's time, she gives you everything that she has. And then when the time's up, she waits again. And that is a mature and incredible thing that I have grown to respect about you, Katie. I hope that you remain that way. I love you very much, Katie Crow. Oh boy. All right, Claire Culp. Claire joined us her junior year doing tech, and she this year had the privilege of operating our new lights, which are crazy and very much difficult to just know how to get to behave because they're Bluetooth and they have to be operated from this iPad that I'm actually using right now. And it takes usually a second to get everything set up and then to fire something. And I feel like I owe you a little bit of an apology, because what would happen is I would always turn around and I would say, hey, Claire, can we do this? And she would always say, working on it, and then immediately it would happen. And so if I had just shut my mouth and been patient, it probably would have occurred all by itself. And Claire never got on to me. She never said, Mr. Ford, seriously, leave me alone. I know what I'm doing. Instead, it's almost like you knew it was coming, and maybe it made her work faster and faster and faster before that. Hey, Claire, could I, Mr. Ford, working on it. And that's her role in theater, but I've also known Claire for a long time, and my favorite memory of Claire is, I don't even know if you were in elementary school or if you were in middle school, but it was at church, and we were playing dodgeball. And it was her and her dad, and these two, well, they weren't very good at dodgeball. But you would not know that by the determination on her little face. And there was a time, we were not on the same team, where she looked at me, and it was like death. And I was terrified of this person. It's because if you know anything about Claire, she could take care of herself. And she will, along the way, take care of you. And I appreciate that so much, Claire. I love you. Claire Culp. Monique Dean. Oh no. I'm going to say what I was going to say about Monique anyway, in case she is watching from home. And she'll see this. My favorite memory of Monique is at the end of every Theater 3 class, she would host her own television show. And just to keep it short, one time I got to be a guest. And that was just the best day ever. Monique Dean. Spencer Eves. The reality TV show that was Theater 3 during First Block this year mostly revolved around Spencer and Ava's relationship. Usually it was Ava entering minutes, sometimes multiple minutes before Spencer, telling us that we were all supposed to be mad at him. Not really ever telling us why, just we're all mad at Spencer today. And then Spencer would enter, and none of us would be mad at him. None of us. Look at him. How can you be mad at Spencer? There are lots of stories from Theater 3 to share about Spencer and Ava, but I won't. Instead, I want to share the most recent one that I witnessed. Ava asked if he wanted to come see Legally Blonde. And he said, yeah, like you do. And he then asked, when's the first show? And she said, Thursday. And he said, yeah, I want to see you in it the first chance I get. And I think Ava was a little surprised by it, but I think that Spencer is a little surprising. I think that he is a very sincere person. I find him to be a very loyal person, and when he cares about something, he is very enthusiastic. And for those reasons, the loyalty, the sincerity, and the enthusiasm about the things that he cares about the most, I respect him very much. Spencer, I'm proud of you. I love you. Spencer Eves. Justice Ellington. All right, so because it's on the screen, I will very quickly share the story at the end of Brothers Grimm Spectaculathon. As you know, and what makes the fanny pack gift so amazing is my favorite gift is notes, of course, for my students. And so the students usually gather a bunch of notes for me to read, and I sat down, and it was closing night, and they always go out to eat on closing night. I always go and see them, but I have to kind of calm down and wind down, and I like to read 1, 2, maybe 3 notes before I go, because it makes me feel good. It gives me energy again before I go and, see you guys, which, you're always just so excited. And so Justice was in the cast. I sat down, and I received this book that I opened, and there were all these notes. It was wonderful. And the first note that I pulled out, there was not a name on it. It only said, "This touched my butt." And then I put it back in the book, and I said, "No more notes for today." I then went immediately to the restaurant, to which I said, because they all, hey, it was Gracie, "Hey, did you read your notes? I bet you already read your notes, you crybaby." And I said, "No, I read 1 note, and it said, 'This touched my butt.' Don't know who it's from." And Justice goes, "That was me!" My favorite memory of Justice is a very special one, because less than 3 days before we had to open Into the Woods, we had a situation where a student wasn't able to be one of the main characters anymore, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know who to go to, and so the first thing I did was I called your parents and asked, is she here? She's here, right? Oh. Yep. Called. And I said, "Hey, here's the situation. Is it okay if Justice steps in as the mysterious man in Into the Woods?" And she said yes, and thank goodness, thank you. And I found Macy, his older sister, who helped me find him, and we found him, and I said, "Hey, want to be in the show that is happening in 3 days?" And
You're underplaying it a little bit. He hunted me down in the hall.
that's what happened. I found him. And you were in the hall, so that is what happened. And that's funny. It's funny what you remember. And I asked him, and he said, "Did you ask my parents?" And I said, "Yes." He's like, "And they said yes?" And he goes, "Yes." And there was no hesitation. I immediately gave him a script, and within the 3 days, he was ready to be the mysterious man, and no one was the wiser. I would argue that in essence, saved the show. And Justice will be there for you. Sometimes he can't be, and he's honest about that. But when you need him the most, he shows up, and he doesn't complain. Instead, he works really hard, really fast, and he makes a lot of mistakes and owns those mistakes and then fixes those mistakes, and then he is there. And because of that, I'm just so thankful that I got to be his teacher. I'm so thankful that I got to be a part of his growth, and I don't mean his height, but his growth. And I don't know, Justice. It's been a crazy 5 years, and I wouldn't change anything about it. And I love you very much. And I'm going to tell you this: this medal has touched my butt. It's true. Sebastian Galanto. It's pretty great. All right, to be very quick, Sebastian Galanto has been a part of the theater since his sophomore year. He has done lots of theater classes. Most recently, he has been an aide for my theater, 1 class, and has taken on and has basically become a second teacher to those students. And when he left on Friday, the first thing that they said to me yesterday was, we miss Sebastian. And I don't know that if I was supposed to take that personally or if it was just a testament to the fact that he was there. Even on days when seniors didn't have to be here, he would tell me, oh, Mr. Ford, I'm going to show up to 4th block. And I go, oh, that's great. He goes, oh, no, not for you, for the Theater 1 students. And I just really appreciated that about him. But last year, it was in August, we had announced what the shows were going to be, and he walked in the door and he said, Mr. Ford, I'm going to be Amos. That's what he said. And he was telling everybody. But he came up to me, he made a point in August. He said, Mr. Ford, I'm going to be Amos. And it took a whole year for people to see, but he was Amos. And he was an amazing Amos. And I'm so proud of his performance and his work, but I'm also proud of the patience, the dedication, and willing it to happen. And that's Sebastian Galanto. Sebastian. Quick pause because I think we need to change the battery in the camera. All right, the battery has been replaced. The camera is back, but if you are grabbing snacks, that's okay. I think a few people may have stepped out to use the restroom. That's okay. A break is actually really good for me emotionally, so I promise this wasn't planned. I'm sorry. We're doing great. No, I'm okay. Give me a water. I practiced this. Okay, I tried to look at the pictures. Thank you very much. You're awesome. All right, we're gonna pick it up. Here we go. No more tears. As I hydrate. Okay. Emily Gallant. All right, Emily.
Hey guys, I'm Emily if you didn't know.
I'm sticking to the script. Favorite memories of Emily are I would make visits to the booth, and usually they would be surprise visits, and usually they would be loud and unannounced, and usually it would scare Emily, and that was awesome. And those were fun memories. But so if you don't know, Emily has been a dedicated tech member, and specifically, like her role of choice now is that she is a spotlight. She's up there always, shining the spotlight. She's amazing at it. She's always there, and she chooses it. That's what she wants to do, is to be the spotlight. And so I looked up the definition of what a spotlight is. And I found out that the definition is very synonymous with the kind of person that Emily is. Emily is a person who, I entered that part, shines an intense beam of light directly on a place or person of her intention. And if you know Emily, if you've been around her or heard her say one word, you know that wherever she is shining this huge light. And everyone's day is instantly brighter because she's there. She is the definition of a spotlight, an intense beam shining a light on a place or a person of her choosing. And she's chosen you. She's chosen us. And for that, we love you. Thank you, Emily. Gabrielle. What? Spelling. Oh. Kristen. That's pretty funny, though. I say Gabriel, and that's the picture that pops up. It's really funny. Okay, I have also known Kristen for a very long time, and I just want to just to watch where she's come from is kind of insane. She, when I first met her, she was a very hesitant person. She was always holding back, and it was not necessarily intentional. She was hesitant. She always had lots of friends. She was always smiling and always happy, but a little bit reserved. And she has taken that and changed it into intentional. And there's a difference between being hesitant and being intentional. To be hesitant is to just be not sure about everything. And to be intentional is to be absolutely sure, but extremely selective, and choosing only the things that she thinks are the most important, and then investing everything in that. And for some reason, probably because of some of you, she chose theater last year and this year. And this year specifically, she didn't just go from being hesitant about theater to being intentional about theater. She has now become being inviting about theater. From being quiet to becoming the homecoming queen. Someone who would never in a million years let me give her a line to say out loud. I tried to give her a line in Chicago, and she said, "I'm not talking." To the person who comes up to me and says, "Mr. Ford, I would like to do my line better because we can do it better," and it was in the show, and it was better. She had 2 lines, by the way. I don't know if you heard them. They're pretty spectacular. That's an increase of 200%, which is about the amount of effort that she gives everything that she does. She is the silent and steady, intentional leader, no longer hesitant, but instead inviting. And for that, we thank our dance captain, Kristen Garland. Gabriel Ghani. I am being tricked. Something is happening. Sahil! Oh my gosh. That is so funny. That is, couldn't have planned that. Couldn't have planned that. Oh boy. All right, well, let me just scroll down here. All right, so I remember when Sahil was in middle school choir having a conversation after a concert with a family member of his, and talking about how he had this beautiful soprano voice. He sang with the sopranos. I don't know if you remember this, but he sang with the higher voices in the choir, and his voice was gorgeous and is different now. And we love it now. And my favorite memory is when he was the king in Brothers Grimm Spectacular-thon. He had this speech about how angry he was that his daughter was marrying this frog prince who he thought was hideous but actually was Jonas, and who we had not seen in the play until that very moment. And he gets to give this speech, and it took so long to get him to just really hammer the speech down, and Mr. Taylor and I were worried that it wasn't going to happen, and then something clicked in a middle school performance, and he came down the stairs that were safe enough, and he came down the stairs, and this march kicked in and started playing, and this intense, angry, manly voice screamed at sixth graders who did nothing to him, and it was just this beautiful picture of how much someone could change, but at the same time stay the same. And I respect all of the things that are different about you, and I also love all the things that are the same from the first day that I met you. And I hope those things stay the same, and I can't wait to see what changes you have in the future. Sahil. He's on a toilet. Gabrielle, we got to meet Gabriel last year in our theater class, and we were like, who is this kid? This kid who would say absolutely inappropriate things in class just all the time because he didn't know that you weren't really supposed to say those things in a class. And Mr. Taylor and I were like, what? Why? What? And I know they didn't write that down in that script that they were working on. I know that wasn't a part of it. That's just Gabriel. And I think my favorite moment of Gabriel comes from Game of Tiaras. And at the audition, he really wanted to be the French prince, and he speaks French, and he is a prince, look at him. And so he shows up, and in the audition, the lines, the sides were a very aggressive take on the character, and he shows up, and he is just already there. It's like he'd been preparing for this role for 6 months or something, and he's ready to go, and he's screaming at these sophomore boys who had never done an audition before, and he's just yelling at them, and he's pretending to have a sword and threatening them, and they're terrified. And that's the exact same thing that he gave us at the performance. It didn't change, it didn't grow, it was already at 10, and it went to 10. The difference was he was in a costume, and when he died upside down across the stairs for the whole world to see, because it was streamed. And that, I think that defines Gabriel very well, which is when you know him, he is going to bust into your life 100% saying things you don't expect him to say. He is going to stay there forever until his brilliant exit. And I think that his time at this building and his time with us in this company is exactly that. Busting through the doors, ready to work, and leaving in a way that everyone will remember. And if you haven't seen Legally Blonde, I mean, it's just so funny when we're singing about whether or not he's gay or European. And he's wearing those shoes, and he's wearing that shirt, And he finally stands up and he says, "Fine, okay, I'm gay." And it is just the most euphoric feeling I've ever experienced in any kind of musical setting. And everyone then goes, "Hooray." And so I think the most fitting thing for us to do after I say Gabriel's name, Gabriel Ghani, is for all of us to just stand up and say, "Hooray." Gabriel Ghani. All right, Meg Henderson. Just making sure. All right, Meg. I've known Meg for a long time, too. And you know how some people don't really just jump all the way into something until they find what that thing is, and then it's everything or nothing. I'm very happy that those two pieces of that equation were Meg Henderson and the EHTC. Because that's who she is, and that's what she did, and she'll keep doing. And I mean, the memories are pretty simple. Her just walking out into class wearing one of the costume pieces. A hat here, a jacket here, and just sitting down and just, "Meg, what are you doing?" "Oh, I don't know if I like it or not." "Well, Meg, you don't have to wear it. Someone else has to wear it." "Yeah, I know. I was just trying it out for him. I really like it, though. I don't know." Or when we're painting, she's the tallest person, but somehow always ends up with paint in her hair. It's just always in her hair. It's because she wants you to experience the same thing. She genuinely wants this place to be its best. And when she's having good days, when she's having bad days, when she walks through the door, that's what she does. And that's what she wants to do, and that's what she's going to keep doing. And I love that about her so much. When she's not wearing heels, we are the same height. But I know one day she's going to find something else, the same way that she's found the EHTC, and she's going to own it, and she's going to love it, and she's going to nurture it. And in that moment, I will be looking up to her, Meg Henderson. Please help her down, Mr. Taylor. Ashley Knox. All right, I'm not going to cry for Ashley because she'll make fun of me. I mean, I'm going to cry. Let's be real. All right, so I'm going to stop the theater stuff, and we just need to brag about this woman who has gotten a full ride scholarship to the University of Chicago. Whatever favorite memory I had of Ashley was blown out of the water when she told me that news, and I was so excited for her. And it's because she throws everything into what she wants, and she doesn't take no as an answer. And some of you in this room know that that's the truth. She just doesn't take no for an answer. She works really hard, and she's going to push you out of the way if you are in her way to get the thing that she needs to get. And her achievements, her accolades, academically and artistically, are just so many, too many to name. And so please know that we are all very proud of you for doing that. And I also want to say about Ashley is that because of this brilliance, I think that I was brilliant for putting her in charge of something, so I'm going to pat myself on the back a little bit for that. But then I quickly learned that if she is your leader, you don't want to make a mistake when she's in charge. And that's how you know that she is going to do amazing things. Because when she walks into a room, for some reason, you're afraid of her. And the reason is because she expects excellence. Not because she's greedy, not because she's selfish, but it's because she is excellent. Ashley Knox. Olivia Lacey. This is Olivia, by the way. She knows the rules. She doesn't always do the rules, but she knows the rules. I met Olivia Lacey when she was a 6th grader. And one day, after talking through the entire class, and I mean the entire class, it was starting school, Olivia talking, and then the bell. That was the class. If you were in that class, you maybe remember me saying, Olivia, it's okay. I was trying to be patient. I really was. Olivia, just Olivia, just maybe, and I'd move her. Didn't work. I would move her far away from people that she was talking to. She'd make new friends, and then if there was something that she needed to say to that first person she was talking to, she would talk louder. And I didn't tell her this at the time because I asked her more than one time, but specifically that time to stay after class. I told her, Olivia, you can't do this. And the reason you can't do this is because other people want to participate in the class, and specifically they want to participate in the class that they signed up for, not for the Olivia class. And I think that on that day she might have looked at me and she might have said, oh no, there's another teacher that just wants me to be quiet, and there's another person who just wants me to go away. And so I think she was surprised when I was very excited that she signed up for 7th grade choir, and then even more surprised to learn that I was excited that she would be in theater. And here we are, her senior year, and she's done theater for a long time. And the reason that I was never going to give up on you, Olivia, is because that's exactly how I was. I was the one that would never stop talking, if you can't see that now. And I wouldn't have wanted anyone to give up on me. And I'm so glad that we didn't give up on each other, because I love everything about the person that you are. And so you know, I loved everything about the person that you were in that moment. You just needed to talk a little less. I love you, Olivia Lacey. McKenna Long. Why are there so many of you, and why are you all so great? Okay. So, under no circumstance will the theater ever have a pet. That is a rule that I have stood by until McKenna Long asked me in the fall in Theater 3, hey, Mr. Ford, can the theater have a pet?
I told you we were getting a pet.
That is what happened. She said, we're going to get a fish, and it will be the theater fish. And I looked at McKenna, and of course, everything about me wanted to say no. If you are a parent and your child comes to you and says, let's get a pet, and they promise that they're going to take care of it, they promise they're going to do everything for it, you know that what that means is for a week, and then you are taking care of it, and you are doing all the things for it. But if you know anything at all about McKenna Long, then you will know that she is so helpful. She is the first volunteer, and she's not afraid to take care of everyone. And so the only thing you can say when someone like that asks you is yes. And because of her, we have Gibby, the theater fish, which, believe it or not, is at her home. because she is taking care of him. I think that anyone in your life that you end up taking care of is going to be a very blessed person. McKenna Long. Malik. Malik's answer to anything that I think I've ever told him is yes, sir. And it's because he's a very respectful person. He values those mentors in his life that come along, and he respects them, and he says yes, sir. Sometimes the question isn't a yes or no answer. And so it's like, Malik, what's your favorite color? Yes, sir. Malik, are you ready to sing this? Yes, sir. Okay, were you able to practice it? And do you have any questions? Yes, sir. And then no question. What I like about that is his default setting is respect and kindness. And it's what he thinks about first. And because of it, he is and is going to be an amazing leader in the future. He's always prepared. He shows up ready to go. He never complains. And then when it's time, he's not afraid to work his charm. You know, I don't know if you've seen Chicago or even if you've seen Blood in the Water from Legally Blonde. But that's a moment. And you see him being the good guy, you see him being the bad guy, you see him being the star, you see him being the foil. And at the end of the day, even though it's a great performance, you know that right there, that's just Malik. And do I love Malik? Yes, sir. I love Malik. Oh, Hattie, Petty. Another one of my middle schoolers. Whew. Check out those pink chucks. That's pretty awesome. So my favorite memory of Addie, hands down, is we were on a choir trip. And do you remember this? We were on a choir trip, and it was the band and the choir, and the band was playing. She was in 7th grade, and one of the chaperones was my brother-in-law, Scott. And Scott and I were in the back, and Addie happened to also just be sitting in the back of the students. And Addie's new best friend for the concert was Scott McPherson. And Scott is my brother-in-law, and I love him so much, and he's just one of the funniest people I know, and he's never met a stranger. And I look over, and he is having this in-depth conversation with this 7th grade girl who is completely turned around, just yelling at him during the band concert. And I'm like, Scott, and it got heated. They were fighting about something. Addie cares very much about the things that she cares about, and she's going to stand up for them. And so I don't even know what they were talking about. But I was like, Scott, you can't do this. And Scott looked at me, and he pointed at this 7th grade girl and said, she started it. And if you know Addie, you know that she doesn't meet strangers, that she will befriend you and then immediately turn against you if you disagree with her, because the things that she loves, she stands up for. And she's not afraid if it's a person who is 6'3" and 275 pounds with a giant beard and looks like Scott McPherson. Oh, Scott McPherson was the one in the hammock, by the way. If you don't know, it was him. And it was just this amazing moment that I never thought that I'd be talking about again. And what's so beautiful about it is I'm really excited to see the things that people do, and then when I find out what the source is, they're going to point to you and they're going to say, well, she started it. And I think that you are going to have a lot of things to be proud of. And one of those things is that you always speak your mind and you're not afraid to do so. Don't lose that, because when you become an adult, that becomes harder and harder to do. And the world needs people like Addie Petty. She started it. Jordan Price. I auditioned for Legally Blonde just to be a dancer, haha. It's a lot of quotation marks. All right, so Jordan, who is Elle Woods in Legally Blonde, as you know. That's the title character. She's the blonde one. We've spent a lot of time together these past few months, as you can imagine, the director and the lead of a show doing. Many hours in the recording booth, in the choir room, in the theater and here. There aren't a lot of people who can take the pressure of a show and instead of thinking about the pressure, working towards the product in a way that is unprecedented from what I've seen. I called Jordan as soon as she got the part, and I asked her if this is something that she thought she could handle, and she said yes. And I said, well, hang on, let me tell you what it is. And then I listed off the things that she was going to have to do, and then she said yes. And I said, I'm not sure that you understand what we're going to have to go through. You're going to have to trust me on a lot of things, because you're not going to get to see things along the way. It's very special when a student who you spend so little time with and then all of a sudden so much time with trusts you as an educator and trusts your vision and trusts that you have their best interests in mind. And along the way, I learned that I also needed to trust you. And she's one of the ones who, when something would get cut, she would say, well, hang on, Mr. Ford. And I'm like, don't you have enough to do? And she's like, no, but we can do it. And her reasoning was, I really like that part. It wasn't, it's really important to the story. It's going to drive the plot. I think the audience will be lost. It was, no, I really like that part. And I trusted her that we could get it done. And never complained. Never even really said no. And instead took extra time so that we could just grow as a partnership. I love that you have that trust. And you wouldn't know this, but several times her confidence was shaken, and it would take maybe just a 5-minute quick podcast conversation in the booth, and we would be right back on track. And it was in this room, and if you were a Delta Nu, a trio, or if you were L, when we did So Much Better, there was the second where COVID went away and where the film went away, and you guys were just performing the song. And that was the song that Jordan was the most worried about. It was a song that I think she trusted me the least on. And to see all of your faces when that playback came on and you guys just did it, and I stopped being a director and I started being an audience member, and I have you to thank for that. I love you. I'm so happy that you decided to audition even though you just wanted to be a dancer. Haha. Jordan Price. Gabby Okel. Queen of the South. Ladies and gentlemen, Rumpelstiltskin. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of the cow from Into the Woods. And Dolly Parton, Queen of the South. Theater 4 joke. All right, so here's the memory. It's not when you and your sister kind of bombarded me in the hallway right before your sophomore year and said, hey, we're taking your Theater 1 class. You better remember us. And I said, okay, who are you? And you introduced yourself as Gabby and Allie Okel. And I said, oh, okay, are you sisters? Are you related? And you guys said, oh, we're twins. And I said, okay, can I just call you Gally? And Gabby said yes, and Allie said no. And if you know anything about the two of them, they would always give me the opposite answers. And it was in that moment where I probably didn't think much about it, but they are two completely different people. And that's not the memory. This is the memory. The memory is during musical theater, she was an aide, and we were outside, and you had the brightest and longest pink nails I've ever seen. And I was teaching her how to use a circular saw. And we had to cut legs because we built a stage on a truck. And I taught her how to use a circular saw, and then she was just doing it. And that's not even the important part. The important part is then a group of middle schoolers passed by and were walking up to the portables in the back. And Gabby was working. She didn't even notice them. She was working, and I stopped her. And I said, don't look, but all of those middle schoolers are looking at you, and they think you are so cool. And not because you're being macho, not because you're doing something that's intense, but because you are being you, and you are operating the circular saw, and you're getting it done. And I could have said, all of those young women are looking at you, and they think you're so cool. But the truth is, everyone was looking at you, and they all think that you're really cool. And Gabby is not afraid to let the world know that being a theater kid is cool. And it will always be cool because she says so, and she's cool. Gabby sometimes doesn't want to make decisions. She's a little indecisive. And I think also she can be reserved because she's afraid that the decisions that she's going to make might not be right. And I'm here to tell you that just be you. Everyone will be watching, and it will be right. I love you very much. I'm excited to see what you do, even if it's in Pittsburgh. Gabby Okel. Leilani, where are you, Leilani? Leilani, sort of like Gabriel, joined us around the same time, and she came into our Theater 1 class, and Mr. Taylor and I were like, who's this? She needs to do theater. And we were right. And then she did theater, but it wasn't because she auditioned. She did not audition for Chicago. It was a similar situation. We had someone who had to drop out, and we learned we were just desperate for someone who spoke another language, who could also dance. And we learned that Leilani spoke another language and could also dance. And since those were the only two requirements, we went to Leilani and were like, please do Chicago. And she was like, okay. And then she was amazing in it. I don't know if you saw Chicago, but Leilani has this incredible ability not to break character, no matter what's happening. Sarah Warmond, who played Mama in Chicago, improvised something where she gives 50 cents to the Dominican girl as she walks across, but all she had was a dollar bill. And so Sarah ripped it in half, which is comedic genius. And I lost it. And then she handed half of it to Leilani. And Leilani took it and kept going. And 50% of the genius was Sarah ripping the bill. But then the other 50% of the genius was Leilani not breaking character. And speaking of not breaking character, my favorite memory of Leilani, someone who is extremely excited and also a little short, had on a dress that was maybe a little long, and she was Ophelia in Hamlet, and she busts out into the audience screaming and yelling at the audience and just bites the dust. She just falls and falls hard, and I am terrified. I start to stand up to help her, and as soon as I even think about it, she pops right back up and keeps going. And I can't tell you how many people asked me if that was part of the play because she sold it so great. And I don't know why I doubted her even for a second, because Leilani will keep going because she knows that she must. And there's not a more special quality. It's rare in theater. It's even more rare as a person. And Leilani, if you've been duping us this entire time and you're actually this terrible, extremely tall person, until today, we will never be the wiser. But I know that that's not true. Continue to be you. And when something goes wrong, make everyone think that was supposed to happen, like you always do. Leilani Reyes. Oh boy. Joel Robertson. Look at these suspenders, everybody. Joel thinks Olivia is hot, as the screen says. Welcome to First Block Theater 3, everybody. All right, so I had a favorite memory about Joel, also someone who I've known for a very long time. But I had a favorite memory about him, and it changed at the premiere. But I'll tell you, we were in the booth, and there were a handful of us. I think it was the two of us and Alyssa and maybe Chapel. I'm not sure. We were playing Among Us, and I pretended like I had never played the game before, ever. So Joel was allegedly the only person in the booth who had ever played. And because of that, I knew that I had to kill him first. And so I did. And he didn't tell on me. He looked at me, and then he looked down, and then he just let the game play out. And, of course, I won. And I don't feel great about it, but I do feel good about it. And that was a great memory because, Joel has so much integrity. And he knows the rules of the game. And even though I did a terrible thing, which I don't feel great about, but I do feel good about, he let it go. And he, at the end, congratulated me. But the real moment was at the end of the premiere, Joel came up and we hugged for a very long time. And he started to cry, which of course then I started to cry. And he started to say all these nice things that I won't repeat. But, let me talk to the adults, the parents in the room. Sometimes things are hard and you're tired and you just don't know, you just don't know. And then someone says the exact right thing in the exact right way, and then you know that it's going to be okay. Well, that's what Joel said, and that's what Joel did. And I'll remember that forever, and I love you for it. Joel Robertson. Not Sahil. did that. Mackenzie. So, what I have written down here, I'm not going to say.
Not my fun fact.
Aw. That's so sweet. Mr. Ford is the coolest teacher I know. He is in no way, shape, or form old and nerdy. Oh, now I'll say nice things, Mackenzie. So I had down, the only thing I was going to say was just my lines from the Vidley commercial. But I can't do it. I can't do it. But that's what I wrote down, because I knew you were roasting me, and I thought that would be funny. But the essence of it is funny enough, and I want to say something about Mackenzie. There are very few students who go their entire high school career trying to make a place special for themselves and for other people. And if you know anything about Mackenzie, she has worked every day, and it's work. It is work. It's fun. There are things to be, reaped at the end, but she has worked every day that she has been a peer of yours to make this place better. And not just for the athletes, and not just for theater, and not just for the extracurricular things, but in the classroom, for the teachers. We've felt the effect that she has had across the school and will continue to have because of the things her leadership has set into motion. And she's done it with great resistance. I can't imagine being a class officer looking at the daunting task of planning activities that you don't even know can happen and maintaining the level of excitement and energy and also the forceful attitude of, oh no, you'll be there. Because I'm planning it, and it's going to be awesome, and so you'll be there. And she's right every single time. I was asked to be a chaperone for field day. I learned the night before field day that I was not a chaperone, but I was a coach, and that I had responsibilities. I didn't know what I was a coach of. And then the day of, I was told that I was coaching the red team, and then there was a red team. And we went outside, and I had decided that I was going to take a step back and just be there, because that's what I had originally promised to do. And it was so much fun, I couldn't help myself, and I had to just jump in it like I was one of you. And I believe the red team won. And that day is special, like so many other days of your high school career, because of the work that Mackenzie Scott has put in. And for that, I respect you, and I love you, and I know that you'll never say nice things about me in front of people, but when we hug, I expect you to say nice things then. Mackenzie Scott. Chapel Short. So, I've known Chapel for a very long time. She is right about, I kind of wish that memory that you shared stayed a memory of yours and not, I thank you, Mr. Taylor. But do you guys know Rent? It's a great song. I'm sorry, I'm not going to apologize. It's a great song. If you don't know the song, go listen to Light My Candle from Rent. And if it's not appropriate for middle school girls, then I don't know what is. Oh, that's it. I don't know what is. I think that's okay. So Chapel, she's done a lot of great things. I can get through this. I've talked to Chapel a great deal, but I've also talked with Chapel's mom a great deal, specifically about Chapel. And I'm sorry. I write a lot of letters of recommendation for students because I have so many wonderful ones, and I'm happy to write them because you're all so great. And Chapel asked me to write a letter of recommendation, and I was very honest in it, and it was one of the easiest letters of recommendation I've ever written. And when she came into the theater and told me, she said, "Mr. Ford, do you remember that letter that you wrote for the college that I really wanted to get into?" I got it. And I feel like our whole relationship can be summed up by the fact that you do amazing things, and then I tell people that you do amazing things, and then they go, "Oh yeah, well then she needs to come do amazing things over here." And I hope that that is everything that you ever want in your life, because you deserve it. I think so highly of you, even if you are short. Chapel short. Oh, she's here. She always does. She always does. All right, Aaron Steele. Look at that face. Mr. Taylor, what did you say? What did you say when we saw this picture? The 1980s wedding photo. Oh my gosh, the 1980s wedding photo. Oh man. Yeah, yeah. So my favorite memory of Aaron is an amalgamation of memories, and they are the fact that he has a bromance with everyone. Everyone. And what's crazy about it is no one is jealous of the fact that he has a bromance with everyone. Oh, okay, a little bit, some people, but most people, not the ones that he has bromances with. Aaron, I don't know that he really wanted to do theater when he started doing theater with us. I think that he was a little bit forced into it, and and that probably lasted for about a day, and then he's been all in the whole time. He doesn't complain about the things that you ask him to do, which is why I ask him to do so many weird things. And he's just always really positive about those things. And his memory, being a part of it as a whole, I think is a good example of the fact that he knows that he wants to do his part because he wants to make the thing better. And I wish that you could see him watch Legally Blonde, but he'll come in the back and he'll stand there, and anytime anything happens that's a success, he will just very quietly, because it's the rules, but he will just stand up and he'll cheer and he'll fist pump. And then if something that he worked really hard on gets a laugh, or if he feels like the moment happens, then he does the exact same thing. And he's just as excited about your successes as he is about his successes, because being a part of it as a whole is his goal. And I love that so much about you. Do you remember at Miss Holmes's retirement party, we were at your house, and there were a lot of pictures of your brother everywhere. Everywhere. They were everywhere. And I came up to you and I go, "That's your brother." And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "Where's your picture?" He goes, "Over here." And there was a really small picture. And all I could say is that his entire family, including his brother, were here to see Legally Blonde. And there was a moment where the biggest face in the room was this man right here. And I'm very proud of the fact that they witnessed that, and they knew it then, but they really know it now. You are amazing. Aaron Steele. Amelia. Man, is that from a video game?
No, it's with the little like stuffed animals.
Oh, it's a thing. I've seen those, yes, because of Zoom. Okay, got it. All right, the easiest memory, or the easiest person to find the best memory ever in the history of theater ever, is Amelia Tyree. Because during Brothers Grimm Spectacular-thon, she ruined an entire rehearsal because we had not practiced a specific line wherein she comes out and she says, "I am a black dragon. I'm going to turn myself into a black dragon." And the way that she does it is she comes out and she just screams, "I'm going to turn myself into a," and then a huge pause, biggest breath I've ever seen anyone take. She just goes, "Black dragon!" And Mr. Taylor and I we lose it. We lose it. We can't recover. We laugh. It's 30 minutes before we can get back on track. Anybody remember this rehearsal? Like it's over. I'm looking at him, and then the problem was she did it the exact same way every single time, and she came out, and I don't even know if the audience understood how amazing it was, because most of the time the audience was like 7th graders, and they had just seen Matthew Wesolowski in a bra. But
I looked so gross. They were so scared.
it was that you had this nose, and you just screamed Black Dragon, and Mr. Taylor and I still just laugh and laugh and laugh about that moment. And the best part about it is I don't think that she was trying to be funny. I think that she just needed to take a breath. And then she did. And it was just the best thing. If you know anything about Amelia, you know that she works hard for everything that she's ever gotten. She is a loyal friend and person. She is so sweet. She is so kind. She is incredibly talented. And she and I had a Zoom conversation after Legally Blonde auditions that I'm not going to share what we talked about, but the conversation started out one way and it ended another way. And the maturity and the excitement and the energy that I saw her have within 10 minutes let me know that Amelia is the kind of person that sometimes needs to stop and take a breath. And then when she does, the very next thing that she is going to do or going to say, you are going to remember forever. Amelia Tyree. Would you do it for us, Amelia?
I guess I'll do it. What was it? I was chasing around Corwin in a tutu,
Yeah.
brown, and after I threw him away, I said, "I'm going to turn myself into a black dragon!"
Emily Waddell. All right. Everything that you could say about Emily now, you absolutely would never have guessed in 7th grade. I don't know that I ever heard her say a word in our 7th grade choir class. And she has the most amazing voice. I don't think that there's a student in this building that has grown as much as you have. And it's just the definition of what you want to see as a teacher. If you have not heard her sing, yeah, your life is not as good as it could be. Because she's going to be singing at senior dinner. I'll be there. I want to hear everything. And I don't think that after 7th grade I ever thought I would say that. I want to hear everything that you do, because what I've heard is so outstanding. You have a gift, a true, genuine gift, and I'm very proud that I get to say, and I will brag about it, I get to say that I was a small part of that gift. Even if it's not true, I'm gonna claim it. And if you need to give her any song requests, might I recommend Reflections from Mulan. Emily Waddell. Mary Wilfong. Another one of my babies. All right. I mean, if you have not taken the time to let Mary Wilfong make your life better, why not? Because she will. In every aspect, with everything that she says and everything that she does, it is just happy, it is just joyous, it is fun, it is everything you could ask for in a person and in a friend and in a student. It is just this wonderful beam that that I'm going to miss very much. I also know that Mr. Taylor is going to miss very much. Can I say some things, Mr. Taylor? Is it okay? So I've known Mary, since middle school, and Mary auditions for everything. She does everything, and Mr. Taylor met her along the way, and at an audition, he just flat out said, "Hang on, who is this Mary Wilfong person?" After an audition, and I proceeded to tell him, that she's been singing with us and she's been doing stuff and she's wonderful and we love Mary. And he said, and I may get him in a lot of trouble for this, and I'm sorry, but he said, I think she's my favorite. He did say think. I think she's my favorite. Sebastian's working for it. But Mary, you don't have to work very hard to be people's favorite. You just are. And I share that story just to let you know that I don't want you to let anyone tell you that you're not good enough, or that you aren't something, or this goes for everyone, but especially Mary. I don't want anyone to stop you from being exactly who you are. I think that my goal as a teacher is to convince you that it's a good idea for you to become the best version of yourself, and I think the person that got there the fastest was Mary Wilfong, and she is always trying to be the best version of herself, and I think that's what we get almost all the time. I love you, Mary Wilfong. Would all the seniors please stand where you are? I have one thing to share with you. so I didn't trust myself to write the last things, so instead someone else did. Dear seniors, you did it. Oh, said like Elle Woods at the end of Legally Blonde. You did it. There are so many ways to take Legally Blonde with you for the rest of your lives. It's so quotable, like using legal jargon in everyday life and calling people buttheads. And you'll forever know to think twice about someone who gets perms, especially if they're curiously involved in a crime. You'll also forever smile when someone says, "in the shower." Seriously, you all should be incredibly proud of yourselves. I admire your tenacity to do hard things. Everyone says how hard this year has been, but all of the adults know it's especially been difficult for students. You all have been thrown into the real world and been required to make adult decisions when we all know you guys deserve to be kids just a little longer. I really wish I had an ounce of your confidence and grace to handle tough things. Can't do a play like normal in the fall? Let's build a stage outside. Got to do online school for a bit? Great, we could stay in our PJs. Can't do a normal prom? We'll have it outside and it'll be better than ever. Can't do a live musical? Fine, we'll make a freaking movie instead. Y'all are insane, but in a good way because you're unstoppable. Thank you for always thinking of me and looking out for me, especially when Mr. Ford is at the school very late. I'm really flattered and honestly embarrassed whenever any of you say hi or want to talk to me, so apologies if I seem aloof or standoffish. I'm sorry that you've had to hear years of sappy stories, but I'm going to tell one more. At some point while we were dating, can't remember if it was high school or college, it was college, Mr. Ford gave me a pair of Child's Rainbow flip-flops. I think he told me they reminded him of me, and maybe one day our daughter would wear them. Or maybe I made that up, who knows, LOL. She didn't. And of course, as you all know, we have 2 boys, and while I love them with all of my heart, I really always pictured myself having a daughter. This is not an announcement, by the way. We, or at least I, have pretty much come to terms with the fact that our family is complete, and I just keep thinking of those dang flip-flops. I get a little sad thinking of all the things Mr. Ford won't get to do as a girl dad. He'd be such a good one. Smiley face. And then I saw Legally Blonde. And I unfortunately have realized too late that he's had a bunch of girls all this time. Watching you all grow up to be beautiful, confident, kind women, I know he's had a part in that, and I'm sorry I haven't been around more often to witness it. But I've heard about all of you along the way, and I'm so proud of you all. And to the dudes, I didn't forget about you. Our 2 goobers, Griffin and Connor, have a lot of people to look up to. And watching you all grow to be mature, inclusive, confident men, I am so proud that my boys have such great examples and a great teacher to get them there. Thank you for showing up, giving your best, being brave, being vulnerable, dancing and singing, and hopefully going home and being kind to your parents and grandparents. Please call your parents and your grandparents, especially when you're at college. Enjoy tonight and this week. Take mental pictures, and please know that you are all very loved by the Fords. Rebecca. One more time, the class of 2021. You may have a seat. All right, there are special awards that we give to these seniors, very special. These are the top awards that you can get in theater. And these, we want to be very intentional about whom we give these awards to. The first award is the award in technical achievement. This award goes to the student who shows up and knows what they're doing every time they're in the booth. They're not afraid to make the hard decisions and make decisions for me when I am indecisive. And usually this person has already made all the right decisions and lets me pretend like I'm making decisions, which I really appreciate. The winner of this year's Technical Achievement Award is Miss Ashley Knox. Congratulations. I mean, are we surprised? Of course not. All right, the Theater Service Award goes to the student who is constantly devoted to the theater and everything that's within the theater, who's not afraid to roll up their sleeves and do the difficult work, even when the work requires paint ending up in their hair. This year, the Theater Service Award goes to Meg Henderson. The spirit of theater. This goes to the student who they represent the theater in more places than just this room, in more places than just the stage. They carry theater with them. They may not even know that they're doing it. And for two completely different reasons, this year, the Spirit of Theater Award goes to two young women. One young woman who I believe is the absolute prime spirit of theater, even though she may not say so, and the other one who knows that she is the spirit of theater and will tell everyone all the time, even though she may not say that it is theater. The two recipients this year of the Spirit of Theater Award are Miss Mackenzie Scott and Miss Gabby Okel. You don't have to hug me. And what are all these fees? The Director's Choice Award. All right, so we're the directors, and we get to choose. That's essentially what this award is. This goes to the student who, particularly on stage, but the student who will take direction and then do it, and then doesn't need a note ever again. The student who shows up and is ready to go from day one, but then also knows their potential and their growth. The student who has talent but wants skill. Does that make sense? Because all of you have talent, but it takes drive, and it takes commitment, and it takes integrity to want the skill too. And when you have both of them, you're unstoppable. I don't think that this is a surprise. This year's Director's Choice Award goes to Miss Grace Brown. Madam President, there she is. The Legacy Award. This is the award that goes to the student who their tenure here is the most extensive. They've been here the longest and the most. They have never wavered, and they've always tried. Even when they weren't necessarily successful in the thing that they wanted to do, they stuck around and did the thing that they didn't want to do so that later they could do the thing that they want to do. And this year, there are two of them. There are two young women who have been around for a very long time and never went anywhere, even when they had the opportunity to escape. They instead decided that they were going to stick around and say, you know what? There's next time, there's next year, I'm going to find my place, I'm going to find my spot, and then eventually I'm going to be the director of audio, or I'm going to win a Hammy for my performance as a supporting actress, Alyssa Boring in Chapel Short. And the Leadership Award. I mean, let's not beat around the bush. We all know who this is going to. I think the best kind of leader is the kind that you don't is the kind that doesn't need a lot of words to get her point across. The kind who expects things but doesn't push, who challenges but doesn't force. The kind of person who takes their own mistakes and learns from them and shares them. The kind of person that's vulnerable but also wants to stay positive. I think this year we could not have been successful in our endeavors had it not been for our student director and the recipient of this year's Leadership Award, Ms. Riley Benedict. So one final lesson, seniors. One last little mini speech. One last story. If you were in choir with me, when we were in 7th grade, I taught you a song. And I told you a story while I taught you the song. The story was about my grandfather who has Alzheimer's, who had Alzheimer's, who passed away from Alzheimer's. And it was a really difficult time because he didn't know who we were, even though we loved him so very much. And during that time, we had the choice to be sad and upset, or we had the choice to go in and celebrate the last bit of his life with him. And that's what we did. And there were things that he did, I won't tell the whole story, but there were things that he did that we learned to love and we grew to appreciate. And that had it not been for the devastating, painful Alzheimer's, we wouldn't have had those memories. And the song is called Washed by the Water, and the lyrics are, even when the rain falls, even when the flood starts rising, even when the storm comes, I'm washed by the water. And it doesn't mean I need to wait until the storm's over. It doesn't mean I need to give up and drown or be scared. It means I need to take the very scary and bad and painful thing and find out what's right about it and what's good about it. Even when the earth crumbles under your feet, even when the ones I love turn around and crucify me, I'm never going to let you down. And I won't fall as long as you're around. This year has been an amazing year. And it's because you, when the rain fell, you didn't hide. And when the water rose, you didn't sink. When the storm came, you didn't crumble in fear. But it's because you chose to be washed by the water. And you did it because you did it together. And so the lesson that you have to take away from all of this is that when we have each other, nothing can bring us down. I'm so thankful to have had you in my life. I'm so thankful that we shared 1, 2, 3, 7 years together. I'm excited to see what storms come and how you choose to be washed by the water. Seniors, may your life be as amazing as you've made mine these past years. I love you. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you, everyone, for joining us for the 2021 East Hamilton Theater Company Hammies. Good night. That's it. Go home. Can I get all the seniors with medals on the stage so we could take a quick picture?
years. You remember that contract you signed?
Contracts are just criminal. VidLink has no contracts.
With VidLink, we're taking streaming and video to the next. I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
I'm just going to say a couple quick things if I'm able to get them out. If I start to blubber, please tell me to suck it up. To all freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, tell me to suck it up. Okay, thank you. That actually, that helped. Okay. You won't ever regret. You won't ever regret coming out of your comfort zone and trying something new. And I encourage all of you to do that.
Just look at the princesses on the top of the
Okay. I literally went 3 years not being friends with someone.
Don't.
Stop it.
Because I didn't go out of my comfort zone, and now we're great friends. No, but seriously, if you're hesitant about something, or you're thinking about not auditioning, or just trying something, please do. I've been so blessed with all of this, and I love all of you guys.
Excuse me, everybody. Jacob Swearingen would like to say a few words.
my dad. As I walk around the room, as I walk around and see my friends graduate,